Komunitas Voice over
Dubber
Announcer
Indonesia.
As KVDAI has some social media accounts such as Instagram, Facebook, online radio. We also have TikTok. We also have website, and then the podcast. What are they? I will just explain to you just three of them. The Instagram is KVDA Indonesia, and then the Facebook is Komunitas Voice over Dubber Announcer Indonesia. Online radio, we have our own app on Play Store. It's called KVDAI 24/7 Online Radio. Baiklah, kita harus bersyukur hari ini. Kita panjatkan puji dan syukur kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Esa karena alhamdulillah acara ini bisa berlangsung ya hari ini dengan Pak Dan. Dan saya juga ingin mengingatkan kepada seluruh anggota KVDAI untuk jangan lupa join atau memang kalian punya teman-teman yang tertarik di bidang suara, jangan lupa untuk mengingatkan mereka untuk join segera dengan KVDAI. KVDAI punya beberapa social media yaitu Instagram, Facebook, online radio, TikTok, website, ada podcast juga. Nah, dasarnya yaitu Instagram, Facebook, dan online radio. Instagramnya adalah KVDA Indonesia. Untuk Facebook, Komunitas Voice over dan Announcer Indonesia, dan untuk online radionya bisa cari di Play Store yaitu KVDAI 24/7 Online Radio. Alright, before we go any further again, Mr. Dan, let's have a look. We have so many people are here. I'll check some of them here. We have Prakasita Perwitasari, hello, and Pak Pres, the president of KVDAI now, he's here. Arif Budiman, hello, Pak Pres. I hope you are doing okay. And then we have Siti Julaiha, Alisa, we have Krishna Chan, we have Rangga, Hafi, and other people here. All right. Tadi saya sudah absen ya satu-satu teman-teman yang sudah hadir di sini. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih banyak telah hadir di acara KOPDAR Virtual yang ke-39 bersama dengan Pak Dan. Baiklah, okay, it's getting closer now to the main part of the show. Before we start, let's pray together. Alright. Baiklah, karena sudah mendekati acara inti, saya ingin mengajak kalian semua untuk berdoa dengan keyakinan masing-masing. Berdoa dimulai. Prayer time is up. Berdoa selesai. And now it's time for our president, Mr. Arif Budiman, president of KVDAI, to say a few words. Mr. Arif Budiman, please.
Oke, terima kasih Ilona. Wow, so beautiful today. Terima kasih juga untuk kawan-kawan yang sudah hadir siang hari ini di KOPDAR Virtual. KOPDAR Virtual hari ini waktunya istimewa sekali karena misalnya kita KOPDAR Virtualnya malam, tapi siang hari ini hari ini kita memulai KVDAI KOPDAR Virtual lebih awal. Dan juga selamat datang untuk Pak Dan yang juga sudah dinantikan oleh banyak sekali member KVDAI juga. Ini merupakan sebuah kehormatan buat kami, buat saya pribadi, mewakili KVDAI mengucapkan terima kasih yang luar biasa untuk Pak Dan atas kesediaannya berbagi, sharing your experience in voiceover industry. And apapun yang hari ini teman-teman dapatkan, cerita, pengalaman, ilmu dari Pak Dan, Semoga bermanfaat dan kita harap mudah-mudahan juga dari KVDAI nantinya akan ada talent-talent yang luar biasa yang juga mengikuti jejak seorang Dan Garlic ya. Kalau beliau dari Australia datang ke Indonesia dan kemudian membangun karir voiceover-nya juga di sini gitu ya. Bukan nggak mungkin teman-teman di KVDAI one day kita nggak tahu barangkali akan ada nama teman-teman di credit title in some movies in Hollywood dan kita tentu berharap barangkali itu akan terjadi suatu hari nanti ya. Entah siapa yang akan mencatatkan sejarah itu. Itu aja dari saya sebagai pembuka. Selamat belajar teman-teman, selamat berbagi dan selamat menebar manfaat hari ini. Kembali ke Ilona. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, so those some few words from our president. He said, "It's such a great honor for all of us to have you here. Thank you, and I hope you can share your experience from the beginning. How was the first time? How could you get involved into this voiceover industry?" All right. So before we start, I will give it to Miss Yenny now. Miss Yenny, are you there?
Sorry. Thank you, Kak Ilona. Aren't we going to play the video?
I suppose so. Yeah.
Thank you, Kak Ochal.
Indonesia is the most beautiful land in the universe. The land where we were born, the nation where we grew up. So many colors that link together in peace. With a million timeless treasures, with an abundance of natural wealth. Indonesia is not just wonderful. Indonesia is a wonderland.
Kota baru punya berbeda, berbeda menghadapi diri sana.
Wonderland Indonesia. Wow, what a breathtaking video, directed, produced, and edited by Alfie Ref, and with a fascinating voiceover by Uncle Dan Garlic. I'm sure we're all even more awed. Ya. Video yang sungguh mengagumkan yang disutradarai, diproduksi, dan diedit oleh Alfie Ref. Apalagi dengan voiceover yang memukau dari Om Dan Garlic. Can we call you Om? Uncle.
You can call me Om, or you can even call me Opa if you want.
Opa.
I don't mind. I am Opa. So there you go.
But I'm not that young. That's why I can't call you Opa.
Well, I'm 60 years old, so you know I'm probably old enough to be the father or grandfather of most of you. So there you go.
Right.
Okay,
So we can call you Opa, yeah?
Yeah. You can call me what you can call. Just don't call me late for dinner, yeah. So
Yeah.
look, can I just say I'm very honored at this meeting with all of you today. It's quite astounding to me actually how many people have seen this Wonderland Indonesia video. And to be honest, when I was approached by Alfie Rev to provide the voiceover, I had no idea what he was going to do with it. So for me, it was a big surprise, a very big surprise. And you may wonder why I'm looking like this, I just pick up my laptop for a minute because this is my screen here where I'm watching all of you, and this is my laptop here on the side. Yeah, so I'm in my studio here with all my microphones. Here you can see this one. This is my Aston Origin from England, and this one here is my Lewitt 440, and this one here is my Rode NT1.
They're all proper equipment, yeah?
Well,
Okay.
professional grade equipment, but
Exactly.
you can understand that you will read a lot of things about what microphone you should have and what you need to have to be a professional, but what I've found over the course of the year, and I've used course of my years, is I've used many different microphones. Perhaps you want to translate that, Yanni.
Uncle Dan, okay. I need to interpret it for our friends. But I'm sure most of them already know what you were talking about. Sobat KVDAI, katanya Om Dan ini beliau tidak tahu seperti apa sebetulnya project Wonderful Indonesia tadinya. Terkejut juga waktu diminta oleh Alfi ya. Nah sekarang nanti kita akan tanya lebih lanjut ya soal ini. Katanya seperti teman-teman lihat, Om Dan ini ada di studionya dan tadi beliau baru menunjukkan peralatannya. Saya tidak begitu nangkap apa aja namanya, cuma apa tadi?
Ada Lewitt,
ya.
terus
ada Rode,
and then one more I forgot. What was that? The one more
Aston Origin.
Aston Origin.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Aston in the UK.
No, but the microphone comes from the UK.
Yeah, from the UK.
The company is called Aston Microphones.
And
the brand of this particular one is called an Origin. So they have a number of different microphones. And it depends on your voice as to which one you might be using. For me, the Rode is it's a good microphone for picking up the bass tones.
All right.
When I recorded the Alfie Rev, the Wonderland, I used the Rode. Normally, I use the Aston, which is this one. You can see it here. It's that's the top of it. It's sort of a middle of the range microphone in terms of what you get from for the depth of your voice. And the Lewitt is quite high in terms of it's got a much more fresh sound. So I use this only when I need to do a exciting kind of read.
Sorry, Uncle Dan, I need to interpret it.
Okay.
I can't remember all of them.
That's too long.
So I will write it into the chat on the side.
Chat column.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terima kasih Kak Aldi, Om Aldi. Okay, Rode NTI Lewitt. Iya. Kata Om Dan tadi, waktu buat yang Wonderland Indonesia, beliau pakai yang Rode, tapi biasanya sehari-hari pakai yang Aston. Okay.
So that's there.
Teman-teman, saya yakin teman-teman pasti sudah tidak sabar ya untuk ngobrol dan tanya-tanya dan belajar dari Om Dan. Tapi sebelum itu, saya mau memberikan sedikit perkenalan tentang Om Dan ini ya. Okay, Uncle Dan, I'd like to introduce you a little bit before we can talk and they can ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Dan Garlic came from Australia and currently he lives in Jogja. As you know, he's a professional voiceover talent with over 30 years professional experience. Correct me if I'm wrong, Uncle Dan.
True.
Okay, great. With his deep, authoritative, and calm voice, he has helped give voice to brand his clients' corporate videos, narrations, e-learning projects, on-hold messaging, and IVR scripts, and animated characters for cartoons and movies. And when I said this, when I was practicing this, my younger son actually said, "Okay, what cartoons, what movies?" And his clients are in the UK, the US, the Netherlands, Singapore, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, and of course, Australia and Indonesia. Okay, if you want to know some of his clients, you can check his website, dangarlicvoiceovers.com. Don't forget voiceover plus s.com. He's registered in 16 voiceover agencies, including Down Under Voiceovers, Spoken, Voice Crafters, Bodalgo, Voice Talent Online, Indo Voiceover, and Inna Voice. And you know what? He's also a polyglot too. He's also a polyglot. In addition to English, he also speaks Lao, French, German, Spanish, and Indonesian. Do you also speak Javanese, by the way?
A couple of words. I know ora popo,
Ora popo. Oh.
and I know matunuan.
Oh, is it because it's a phrase our president usually uses? Ora
Yes,
popo.
yes,
Aku
pretty
ora
much.
popo. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Miss Jenny.
Yeah.
Please, some of the participants, I would like you to please to turn off your camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just for Miss Jenny, me, and then the president and Om Dan. Thank you. Can you turn off your camera, please, Grace Sena? Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
All
Kak
right, go
Ilham.
ahead.
Oke, sekarang saya terjemahkan sedikit ya. Mungkin teman-teman yang lainnya sudah tahu ya. Oke, ini buat yang belum, yang perlu bantuan aja. Om Dan Garlic ini berasal dari Australia dan sekarang berdomisili di Jogja. Beliau adalah seorang pengisi suara profesional dengan pengalaman profesional selama lebih dari 30 tahun. Hingga saat ini beliau telah bekerja dengan klien-klien dari Inggris, Amerika Serikat, Belanda, Singapura, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, dan tentu saja Australia dan Indonesia. Kalau teman-teman ingin tahu sebagian kliennya, silakan baca di situs webnya ya, yang tadi itu dangarlicvoiceovers pakai s.com. Beliau terdaftar di 16 agensi pengisi suara, termasuk Down Under Voiceovers, Spoken, Voice Crafters, Bodalgo, Voice Talent Online, Voiceover, dan Inna Voice. Kalau mau yang lengkap, silakan cek juga di websitenya. Dan sobat KVDAI tahu nggak kalau Om Dan ini juga seorang polyglot ya. Tadi saya sudah katakan selain bahasa Inggris, beliau juga bisa berbahasa Lao, Prancis, Jerman, Spanyol, Indonesia, dan bahasa Jawa tadi bisanya aku rapopo sama matur nuwun ya. By the way, Uncle Dan, do you also speak Thai?
Look, speaking all those languages, I have spoken them in my life. Now I, like if I went back to Lao now, I doubt I would be able to speak it very well now because I've been in Indonesia. But the funny thing was, when I first came to Indonesia, I came directly from Laos. So for me, it was, I would go to a restaurant or a bar or something, and I would order in Lao, and they'd look at me like, what? What are you doing? But yeah, now I speak better Indonesian than I do Lao, I think.
Okay.
But the thing about speaking languages is it's very for me, I've always found it quite easy to pick them up, but I never get to the fluency or proficiency because I only use what I need to use, and also people always want to talk English to me. Always. So that's why they're always talking English to me rather than me speaking their language back to them. So consequently, I understand a lot more Bahasa, and I even understand some Bahasa Jawa, but I cannot speak it.
Okay, so Sobat KVDAI, katanya ini waktu bahasa Lao sekarang beliau sudah tidak begitu fasih. Karena begitu sampai di Indonesia lebih banyak ngomong bahasa Indonesia, walaupun pertama lupa ya pakai bahasa Lao loh. di Jogja pakai bahasa Lau, siapa yang ngerti ya. Tapi sekarang bahasa Indonesianya sudah jauh lebih bagus karena bahasa-bahasa yang lain itu beliau lupa karena ya kemana pergi diajak ngomong bahasa Inggris terus ya. Maybe Uncle Dan, you need to pretend that you're Russian so they won't speak English with you. Pura-pura aja jadi orang Rusia gitu. Mau belajar bahasa Inggris kalau nggak mau praktek bahasa Inggris ya.
You think maybe I could get away with that, huh?
No English, no English, just that.
Tidak Inggris.
Tidak bisa. Like that.
Tidak bisa.
Saya bisa ngomong Inggris.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you want to ask me some questions about how I started, yes?
Hang on.
Okay, so can I just say there are a few people still with their videos on. So you want this to go smoothly. Rofik, you need to turn off your video, yeah?
Ya, tolong teman-teman yang belum.
Rofik, tolong matikan kameranya, please.
Ya, nanti bisa nyalakan waktu kita foto-foto ya. Wajib nyalakan nanti kalau foto-foto ya. Sekarang matikan dulu aja.
Okay, so if you go to my website, as you mentioned before, Yenny.
Yes.
You want to translate that?
Yeah, they already understand.
Okay. So if you go to my website, there is an about section where you can read about what I used to do, how I got into radio and all that sort of stuff. So the history is all there. It is all in English, but I'm sure you can all use Google Translate. Hello, Agus. So I will just call, when I see a video come on, I just call their name, yeah, and then they turn it off, yeah?
Wow, and then everybody will turn on their camera.
No. Oh, because so they want me to say hello to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can say, so hello, everyone.
Yes.
There you are. So now you don't need to turn on your camera. So ask me some questions.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about your experience.
Well, I've been doing voiceovers since I started in radio in 1988.
Wow,
Were any
1988.
of you alive then?
I was already born.
You were.
I was 1 year old at that year.
So I started in radio, and I'd also done a couple of radio courses before that. You know, where they teach you how to speak on radio. And back in the days when I was doing it.
Sorry, did you go to college? I mean, learning about the radio stuff.
You didn't have college for radio then. You just had ex-radio announcers mostly, or ex-TV people who had created a course.
Courses.
And so people would go and buy the course and then learn how to do this. So I was I went to a course that was called the Radio School. And I started doing that, and that took a year to do that. 1 day a week, and we used to go in. I was working full-time. I worked in a hotel. I was the manager of the hotel, and so on my off day, I used to go to the radio school and do my course, and then that took 1 year to do. And then at the end of that, I created my voice demo in the little studio that they had there in the radio school, and then we had to dub 40 copies of the voice demo and send it to radio stations around the country in Australia. And we sent these out in like an envelope with a cassette. Has anyone ever seen a cassette?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So, well, some people may not have. So cassettes, we mailed them this was before the internet, right?
Yeah.
There was no internet. So we had to send it via the post office and send them out to radio stations around the country.
Uncle
and
Dan.
then I got some letters back, and finally I got one offer from
40 copies.
Uncle Dan,
Pardon?
sorry, can I interpret it first?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Ya, sorry. Udah panjang banget nih. Nah, buat KVDAI, seperti yang teman-teman sudah dengar tadi, Om Dan ini mulai karirnya dari dunia radio, seperti Kak Arif, Kak Alim.
Di tahun berapa Miss Yani?
Di tahun 98. Apakah?
Iya, betul. 1988.
Sih sudah ya. Oke, waktu itu bukan kuliah katanya, tapi kursus yang dibuat oleh orang-orang atau pakar-pakar dari radio gitu ya. Buat kuliah sekarang juga banyak ya kita.
Ambil
Namanya
1
itu
tahun.
The Radio School ya, 1 tahun, seminggu 1 hari. Sementara itu Om Den sambil bekerja full time jadi manajer di sebuah hotel.
Ya.
Lalu pada akhir kursusnya beliau tuh harus buat voice demo. Ya, lalu
Sebanyak 40 kopi ya.
kirim ke seluruh negeri dengan bentuk kaset ya,
Kaset,
audio tape kayak zaman dulu itu ya, yang masih diputer-puter ya.
Pakai pensil.
Iya, pakai pensil.
Dan hanya diterima 1. Yang dari 40 kopi yang diterima hanya 1.
Well, not really photocopy because that's paper.
No, I was talking about.
This is
This is different.
magnetic tape.
Oh, there's a misunderstanding here.
Yeah, in this context. All right.
So
Yep.
after that, I received an offer from a radio station, which was a little country radio station behind the mountains that are in. If you know anything about Australian geography, the biggest city is Sydney.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
behind Sydney is a set of mountains called the Blue Mountains,
Mhm.
and then behind that is what are the Western Plains. So I got a offer from a radio station there in a little town called Lithgow.
How do you spell it?
Lithgow was L-I. Wait, I'll write it here. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Lithgow. It was a coal mining town, and the radio station was called
Lithgow.
2LT.
Let's go.
The radio station was called 2LT. So the call sign was 2LT, Midwest to the mountains.
Whoa.
Alright.
So,
Okay.
so
So
it's
the
like the
KVDAI?
Midwest of New South Wales, which was the state or province, to the mountains. So that
Okay.
was our broadcast area. And
Thank you.
in there, that was a great. I worked there for nearly 2 years, couple of months off 2 years.
Okay, Uncle Dan.
It's time for us to interpret.
Yeah.
Tadi Uncle Dan bilang sesudah kirim-kirim kopi tadi itu yang 40 voice demo itu, akhirnya beliau dapat tuh pekerjaan dari satu perusahaan kecil. Is it a small company, Uncle Dan?
Small radio station.
Oh, sorry,
Small radio,
small
it's called
station.
2LT.
Stasiun radio yang namanya 2LT itu kok kedengaran kayak 2 liter ya, like 2 liter.
Yeah, 2 liters.
Di Lithgow.
Let's go,
Lithgow
Australia.
itu adanya di Western Plains yang ada di belakang the Blue Mountains, adanya tuh di belakang Sydney. Sydney itu terkenal sebagai kotanya orang Indonesia ya, Uncle Dan. Karena
Sorry.
saking banyaknya orang Indonesia. There's so many Indonesians there that people often dub it the Indonesian town. An Indonesian
in
city.
In Sydney,
They're
yeah.
just-
Well, there is
Sydney.
actually, now I'll tell you a story about my first encounter with Indonesians. Long time before I ever came to Indonesia.
Mhm.
All right.
When I left school, my next door neighbours, they were boys, and I and my brother also, we started, one of them started doing a martial art. And he said, oh, you've got to come along and see this martial art. And we can maybe practice it. You want to interpret that?
Iya,
Okay.
Waktu beliau baru sekolah,
Ada tetangganya,
Ada
2
tetangganya.
orang.
yang jago martial arts. Oh, what
Martial art.
What martial arts was it?
It was
Yeah, it was
Karate
Silaturahmi.
or what?
Bela diri.
Silaturahmi.
Bela diri.
Bela diri apa pencak silat?
Silaturahmi.
Perisai diri.
Perisai diri.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Okay.
from Indonesia.
Yes, it was. And my teacher was a guy. His name was now let me just think. He was from Bandung,
Wow.
I see.
and his name was, now what did he call himself? Rocky, but that was not his name. I have to remember. I maybe think of the name. Anyway, so I ended up training in Silat Perisai Diri
Oh,
for 4 years. I became a teacher of Silat Perisai Diri.
Wow.
wow.
And so that was my first encounter with Indonesian culture. This is in probably even before you were born, Yenny. This is in 1979.
Oh,
yeah.
I was already
That's-
born.
Oh, really?
And
I haven't
so I
born in
became a
that
teacher.
time.
So I knew all the words like Naga and Putri and what's the other one? Satria and
Wow.
you know all the words. And I had to practice this. So I became a teacher of Silat. And Silat Perisai Diri in Australia now is a very, very big organization.
Ah.
And I will try to remember what the name of the guy. What was my final belt? I was a
Black belt?
red belt, blue
Red.
tip.
Hmm?
Red belt,
Red
blue
belt.
tip.
It's got a question from Hafi, Miss Jenny.
Yeah, what was my
yeah.
final belt? I was red belt, blue, red
Belt.
belt. What was after that?
Blue tip.
Red belt, I think it was. Yeah, so anyway, that qualified me to teach.
Oke,
That's cool.
Sobat KVDAI, ternyata Uncle Dan ini diam-diam itu
Jago silat.
sudah belajar silat perisai diri dari sudah 4 tahun loh belajar
Iya.
dengan
Dan
gurunya namanya Pak Rocky, nggak tahu nama aslinya,
Stage name
dari
ya,
Pak
stage
Rocky
name.
dari Bandung, dan makanya beliau sudah keasing dengan kata naga, putri, satria, dan terakhir itu sabuk merah loh, sabuk merah, blue tip berarti apa itu Kak Ilona? Saya nggak ngerti.
Blue, what was that?
Blue
Blue
tip.
what?
Blue
Blue
tip
tip.
itu berarti ada garisnya atau apa ya?
Maybe it's like a stripe in the middle of the. Right.
It was the belt was red, and then
Yeah.
there's a little blue on the end of the belt has a little blue tip.
I see.
Okay, and
Di
And then
ujungnya
after that,
ada
I
biru.
became red belt, which was red belt, whatever the next one up. So it was you went from white,
yes, red belt.
white, green, no, white,
Green,
yellow,
yellow,
green,
green.
or white, yellow, green, blue, and then red. Yeah, I
Red
think
and
there
then
was 5.
black.
Iya Kak Fian, betul itu. AA Rocky dari Bandung.
Yeah.
Oke, wow. Jadi dan Om Dan ini juga karena sudah belajar 4 tahun itu punya kualifikasi untuk ngajar perisai diri itu loh, ngajar pencak silat.
So that was. Sorry, you're still interpreting.
No, what were you going to say?
I said so. That was my first encounter with Indonesian culture, and then it was about 1983 or 84. 84. I went over to Europe, to England and Ireland, and I went for a holiday. I was with some friends, and we were on bicycles and traveling around the countries. And we stayed over there for about 6 months. And on the way back, I stopped in Bali in 1984. Now, Bali then was not like it is now. It was, I can remember we got off the plane and we had all, because we'd just come from the winter in Europe, we had all this really heavy clothing on, and we got there and it was so hot. And we just took all the clothes off, put them into the bags, and then just wore shorts and T-shirts. And I remember we went to this little losmen in Kuta where we slept on the floor. It was the mats were made from bamboo or bamboo leaves or thatch.
Tikar ya, tikar.
So we stayed there, and then we went from there up to Ubud. And I remember at that stage, we had a great place up in Ubud, but there was no lights in the streets at Ubud at that time. So this was
Maybe it was on
1984,
your P day, on
There was only one area of the center of the town that had lights at night, and the rest of it was all dark. So you'd be walking down the road in the dark, not knowing where, we had to have a torch so we could see. And where we lived was, where we were staying was near to the monkey forest.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the monkey forest in Ubud, yeah.
Yeah, so I've still got some photos somewhere. I don't know where they are of us. There was a big water hole down near the monkey in the water forest, in the monkey forest, sorry, and we used to go swimming there every day.
Every day.
Okay, thank you Om Dan. So, teman-teman KVDAI, ternyata pada tahun 84 itu Om Dan kan mampir ke Bali. Mereka 6 bulan di sana, baliknya mampir di Bali. Nah,
Bali.
Yang seperti teman-teman udah dengar, mereka di Ubud tidur pakai tikar, panasan, di Kuta, lalu di Ubud ke hutan.
Lalu pergi ke Ubud, iya.
Oke, itu sudah panjang lebar banget ngomongnya.
Oke, kita buka sesi tanya jawab ya.
Yeah, but when and why did you decide to come and actually live in Indonesia? And out of all the cities and towns in Indonesia, why did you choose Jogja and not Bali, for example? I've heard Bali is the favorite Australian holiday destination.
Yeah, but I've never really been one for stereotypes. So, look, what happened was when I was in Laos, I said I was there for nearly 2 years. I was actually there doing a program with the Australian government. Hello, Anders. Hello.
Hello, Mister.
Yeah. So I was there doing a program for the Australian government, as part of an aid program that you can go on. So I was over there helping. There was an organization called Gender Development Association, and they needed someone to go there as a volunteer. And I thought, well, okay, I can go over there as a volunteer. All my kids are grown up now. I've got some free time. I can go over there. And so I went over initially for 3 months to Laos and helped this organization start to produce their own media. So I had to teach them about creating a website. I had to teach them about creating videos, creating audios, creating social media. So within 3 months, I got to the stage where I realized very quickly that there was not enough time to teach them what they needed to learn. So I spoke to the country manager, and he organized that we would make a new assignment, and it would be for as long as 18 months. So this organization I was working for was called an NGO, non-government organization.
All right.
Now, if you want to interpret all that, I'll continue after you've done that.
Okay. Yeah. Sobat KVDAI.
While you're doing that, I'll go and get some more water.
Okay.
Yes, please. Take your time.
Om Dan tadi di Laos hampir 2 tahun bekerja sebagai sukarelawan di NGO Australia. Selama 3 bulan awalnya, karena anak-anaknya sudah besar, ya bisa di sana dia mengajarkan orang-orang di sana bagaimana membuat video dan lain-lain. Lalu karena waktunya kurang, dibuat jadi programnya 18 bulan. Kak Ilona bisa tambahkan?
Oke, dan setelah karena dia berpikir anak gue udah pada besar-besar, jadi aku punya my free time, waktu bebas untuk melakukan hal-hal yang dia cintai, kayak gitu, melakukan hal-hal yang dia suka. Nah, di Laos hanya 2 tahun ya kayaknya ya.
Hampir 2 tahun. Oke, nanya siapa yang sudah siap nih?
Saya tambah bantu tangan Om. Oke.
Kalian ayo bantu interpret ya. Ini siap-siap nanti yang mau open mic ini sesudah Om Dan balik. Nah,
he's back. Dia sudah kembali.
Okay, berarti kita mulai dari Kak Novita ya.
Ya.
Oke. Om Dan,
Yes.
ini ada pertanyaan dari Kak Novita ya.
There's a question from Novita. Opa Dan.
Yes.
Okay, hey guys, hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm really glad and excited to be here. I'm happy, but I want to admit something.
What?
I know that the person that studying some language, it's called polyglot, and I do that.
Kak
Okay,
Novita,
that's right.
bisa
So
tolong
what's the
nyalakan
question?
videonya, coba. Could you please turn on your camera?
Oh no way, that's a really nightmare. I'm not. It's good. I'm not.
Okay, no problem.
Did you ever watch, like a movie, Frozen?
Kak Novita, pertanyaannya yang singkat, padat, dan jelas saja
Ya,
ya.
karena kita harus gantian sama
Iya,
yang
nanti
lain.
gantian ya.
One question for Uncle Dan. Why did you choose voiceover from another profession in this whole world, and why voiceover that you choose, like you are forever in that?
So why did I become a voiceover artist?
Yes.
The reason.
Okay, so
Okay.
your question relates back to what I was talking about before. Was that when I was in Laos, I realized that I was starting to get to the point, because backtrack a little. You want to quickly interpret that?
Miss Jenny?
Oh, I think they all understand.
Okay, so from 1999 to 2013, I ran my own media production company. So we created websites, videos, audios, social media, etc., etc. And that was one of the reasons why I went on this volunteer program to Laos. Finishing in Laos, while I was there, I recorded a series. I was doing voiceovers as well as working for this company. So I didn't have a studio like this, because I had to move around a lot. So I had my microphones, and I had a thing called a Portable Booth Pro.
What does it look like?
And at that stage, I had a whole lot of microphones with me, mostly Rode microphones. I used a Rode NT1 and Rode NT1A and a Rode Podcaster. Was it called a Podcaster then, or it was a white one? I think it was called a Podcaster, anyway, that was a USB one. So anyway, I had this set up in my house in Laos, and I was doing voiceovers on, when I would get home from work, I would do voiceovers. So it wasn't full time for me at that stage. And I did one series of, which I think you can see on my YouTube channel list. They're on there, a series of videos for Sugars of the World, for a big Australian sugar company. And one of the sugars was Gula Jawa. And so I was doing this voiceover, and back then I had no idea how to pronounce Indonesian words. So I was calling Jogja, I was calling Yogyakarta, and I was calling the sugar was Gula Java, and
Gula Java. Okay.
anyway, so I didn't know about that until, so that was just like a little aside. Then I finished doing this assignment over in Laos, and the next assignment I got given was in Yogyakarta, in Jogja. So I said, oh, okay. So I had to go back. You have to go back after you do these assignments and do a debrief. And so usually you're back in Australia for about anywhere from 1 month to 3 months, depending on what you have to do. So I went back to Australia. I was back in Brisbane, and I got this job, and so I came over to Jogja to do this job, and I was living in just near Jalan Afandi, and then we had to go to Wisma Bahasa, the school, and do intensive Indonesian language course, and so much Indonesian that I couldn't even think at the end of the day. And we did this for 6 weeks, 6 days a week, for like 8 hours a day. So you would think when I came out of there, I would be able to speak Indonesian really, really well, but bisa sedikit, because I just couldn't do it. Anyway, so what happened was I was living then in Jogja, and I started this program with the organization here, but it was not organized at all, and it ended up being a complete failure. So, and then I got dengue fever, so I was in hospital for 2 weeks, and then I had to go back to Australia. So it was all over, but I really liked Jogja. So I went back to Australia, and I thought one day I'll come back to Jogja. So I was here for 9 months. This is in 2016. And then so I thought, I really like Jogja. So I thought, okay, if I want to get back there, I don't think I want to go and do the aid work anymore. I would have to find something I could do that would enable me to live there and be able to do my job. So I thought, what's the one thing that I've always been passionate about is voiceover.
Voiceover.
So I thought, okay, how can I do this voiceover business just by itself? Because before, voiceover was just one part of what I did. As I said, I made websites and social media and audios, including voiceover. So it was one part of what I did. Also, at the time while I was in Australia, I had been a director of a business network franchise, which was all about teaching people in business how to refer business to each other in a really structured way. And I did that for quite a number of years. So that was another area that I was working in.
Was it BNI?
Yes, it was BNI. That's right.
All right.
So I was an executive director of that for quite a while, and then I became a training director going around Australia. And so I had to produce a lot of media for that organization as well. And there is, I think, a video on my professional voiceover examples on my YouTube channel. You can see that down the bottom.
I thought it was Bank Negara Indonesia, but what does it stand for?
It stands for Business Network International.
Oh, I see.
Which is confusing when you're in Indonesia, right?
Yeah, because we have BNI as well.
Yeah, I know you have. Yeah, but it's the bank.
It's the bank, yeah.
Let me do my job now. Iya, Sobat KVDAI, seperti yang tadi teman-teman sudah dengar, dari tahun 99 sampai 2013, Om Dan ini bekerja di perusahaan atau punya perusahaannya yang mengurusi website, social media, audio, lalu voice over juga. Cuma waktu itu belum fokus di voice over, lalu pakai karena beliau itu mobile, jadi pakai Portable Booth Pro, lalu yang ditulis tadi itu jenis-jenis mic-nya. Beliau hanya melakukannya setelah pulang kerja. Nah, waktu itu ada project Sugars of the World, itu ada salah satunya tentang gula Jawa. Nah, ucapannya juga masih belum tahu ya beliau waktu itu ya. Lalu setelah itu, setelah assignment selesai, tugasnya selesai, beliau itu balik ke Australia 1-3 bulan ke Brisbane, lalu dapat tugas di Jogja. Nah, tinggal di Jalan Effendi, di situ belajar bahasa Indonesia secara intensif ya, saking banyaknya bahasa Indonesia sampai kelenger itu ya. Di Wisma Bahasa. Lalu Om Dani kena demam berdarah 2 minggu balik ke Australia, tapi dia benar-benar suka sama Jogja, lalu balik lagi tahun 2016 9 bulan, lalu ngapain ya di Jogja, tapi beliau nggak mau ngerjain yang lain, maunya voice over aja ya, passionnya, rencananya. Jadi akhirnya gimana itu cerita selanjutnya, kita dengar lagi. Oh ya, by the way Uncle Dan, uh, linguists and interpreters and translators here actually frown on the use of the term bahasa for Indonesian because
Yeah, I
bahasa
know.
is language. Yeah, and yeah, we usually prefer Indonesian instead of bahasa. So sorry.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, Kak
thank you
Ferdina,
for
ya.
letting me know that. So, if I can get up to date now, so I had left Jogja back in Brisbane, and then I received an invitation from a friend of mine who I had known through BNI, and he was living in Saigon, in Ho Chi Minh City. And he asked me, Dan, can you come and start a digital media agency with me? And I said, okay, maybe, yeah, if you give me the right money, of course, yeah, I can do anything like that. So I went to Ho Chi Minh City in the beginning of 2017, and then I stayed there for about 6 months and got the digital media agency going, and then I said, okay, well, that's enough for me here. I want to go back to, I'm leaving Vietnam now. I want to go back to Australia. And then a friend of mine who was here in Indonesia, this is a guy I'd known since I was 15 years old, was a good friend of mine all through school, and we hadn't seen each other for a long time. But he said, hey, Dan, I hear you've already been in Indonesia. And I said, yeah. And he said, what are you doing now? And I said, well, I'm just about to leave Vietnam and go back to Australia. He said, well, do you need to do that? I said, no, not really. Why? And he said, well, I've got an apartment in Bali, in Kuta. You can go and stay there. I said, okay, I can do my voiceovers there. No worries. So I packed up all my gear and I flew to Bali, and then I stayed there for about 6 months. And I was still doing, by this stage, my voiceovers I had started doing all the time. So I had secured a contract with a company in the UK who used to send me, and still do now for nearly 5 years later, send me scripts every day just about. And so that became the basis of my voiceover income, one client.
Wow.
So this is for on-hold messages. You know, phone on-hold messages, like IVR?
The
Does everyone
IVR,
know
yeah.
what they are? Like, hello, you've called KVDAI. Please leave a message for Ilona or Yenny. You know, that's something like that, right? So I do these every single day now. Even today, when we finish this, I've got to do, I think, about 30 scripts. So that's why I asked you at the beginning how long this was going to go for. So anyway, so I left Bali, and then my friend said to me, look, I'm building a resort. It's in a place called Karimun Jawa. And I said, oh yeah, where is it? And he said, it's right in the middle of the Java Sea. Would you like to go up there? I said, well, yeah, I can go up there. Oh, no. Would you like to live there? I said, I don't know, maybe. Do they have internet? Do they have electricity? Because I need that for my voiceover. He said, yes, they have them since last year. I said, oh, okay, well, let's go and have a look. So I went up there, and then I ended up living on Karimun Jawa. And I was living there for about 3 months. And then I said, you know, it's nice, but I really need to get back to a city. And by that stage, I'd realized that I really liked Jogja. So I said, I'm coming back to Jogja. I'm going to come back and live here. So I had to come back and live here for a little while, maybe a month. And then I went back to Australia briefly to get everything organized, because then I knew I was going to come back here and live here. So at the beginning of 2018, I came back to Jogja. I got my kitas and got everything sorted out. And then I found a house. And so now I live here already. So that's the long story.
Thank you. I can only summarize it. So,
Yeah.
teman-teman KVDAI di tahun 2017, Om Dan ini selama 6 bulan di Ho Chi Minh, lalu ada temannya menawarkan apartemen di Kuta Bali. Lalu beliau dapat kontrak dari Inggris, setiap hari dapat skrip, ya, itu sumber penghasilan yang utama ya, buat on hold messages. Lalu belakangan beliau tinggal di Karimun Jawa 3 bulan, tapi beliau lebih suka Jogja.
Di Jogja ya.
Ya, saya langsung ke penanya berikutnya.
Pertanyaan berikutnya, ya.
Oh, bagaimana kalau pertanyaan yang diketik ini? Karena kasihan nanti takut kelewatan ya. Tadi ada beberapa tapi saya agak-agak bingung.
Karena signal aku tadi on and off, aku di kolom chatnya hilang ini.
Oh gitu, oke. Coba.
So they
Mungkin
want me to answer a question about marketing strategy.
Yeah, for selling your voice.
Okay, so
you've read it?
I do not have an agent. I've never had I had one agent, but I never got any jobs through them. So
Alright.
basically, my strategy is creating relationships. You know, you've got to reach out to people, and you've got to, without overselling yourself, you've got to say, hi, how are you? This is what I do. If I can possibly help you, then please let me know. And then that's it. You don't sell yourself. You don't say, if you'd like to buy this, this, or this, or blah, 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 blah. And then maybe a month later, you might reach out. Hi, it's me again. Just want to let you know what I've been doing. I've, done this or that or whatever. You know, I've done voicing for this company or that company. Maybe you've seen it. Here's a link. Still not selling, right? So this is a long-term proposition to market yourself as a voiceover.
So it's more of a soft selling, Uncle Dan.
Yes,
Soft-selling,
soft-selling.
public relations.
Yeah, soft selling.
But it's creating relationships. So you might ask them, you might see something that their business has done, and you say, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that. How did you do that? Did it take a long time? You know, ask them questions about it. The other part of it is you've got to get listed with various sites. Now, there's a lot of argument in the voiceover community about what are called pay-to-play sites.
Play-to-play sites?
Which is stuff like Voice 123, Badalgo, Voice Realm, blah, 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 many, many, many of them.
So do you
there's a lot
suggest
of-
that we do it?
Pardon?
You suggest that we do it?
Look, I think
Because
yes,
most of
but
us
the
are
two-
beginners.
two best ones I've seen so far in Indonesia are Inner Voice and Indo Voiceover. But there is another one that contacted me recently called Suara Voice Talent, I think it was the name. Anyway, I can't remember. But the thing is, really it's a case of just being persistent. Being persistent and being patient. And to build a full-time voiceover career is quite a hard thing to do. Most people never get to being full-time voiceover. Now, I'm 60 years old now. It took me more than 5 years, and I had been doing voiceovers now for over 33 years, but it took me 5 years from when I decided to make this only doing voiceovers, not doing anything else, only voiceovers. It took 5 years to establish an income where I could say, okay, I can live on this now. So it is hard. It's very hard to do it, but you need to be persistent. There is some very good, I've already met quite a few good voiceover artists. There's a lady called Fitri Rahman. I think she's
here.
Voiceover, female voiceover.id. She operates from Kebumen.
Kebumen.
Yeah, and she has talked to me a lot about what does she need to do. And I'm pretty sure now she's actually making quite a good living from doing voiceovers, because she's listened, and I've said to her, well, you don't start small, grow big. But there is a huge amount of information on the internet about how to do it. But the key is persistence.
Mhm.
Persistence and patience. And the Indonesian word for that, sabar.
Sabar.
I love it.
Sabar.
Yeah.
Oke, jadi kalau mau bertahan, mau sukses di bisnis ini, kita harus sabar ya, harus
Sabar ya.
Ingat ya, nggak boleh
Persistent and patient.
menyerah, seperti juga kata Om Mike waktu itu ya. 5 tahun pertama, sesudah 5 tahun baru Om Dan ini bisa
menyadari
di voice over ya. Tadinya mungkin masih belum settled, belum merasa penghasilannya cukup dari voice over. Sesudah 5 tahun ya baru bisa
baru menentukan kalau ini sudah menjadi income pastinya beliau.
Oke,
Gitu.
sekarang kita bisa minta Kak Sita kalau mau open mic.
That's right. Persistence and passion. Someone just wrote.
Passion and patience too.
That's from
Passion. From the heart.
passion.
Yeah,
From the
passion. From the heart.
Passion.
Persistence and passion.
Kak Sita, hello.
So it's 3 P's, basically: persistent, passion, and patient.
That's it.
Yeah.
3 P's.
The 3 P's of voiceover. There, we've just coined something.
There you go. We just
Surprisingly.
created something.
Surprisingly, it's my Facebook status like a few days ago, like a few years ago. Oke, Kak Sita, di mana Kak? Kak
Patient.
Sita.
Nggak jadi nanya,
Kak
Miss,
Sita.
katanya sudah.
Oh, nggak jadi. baiklah.
Okay, so who's next?
Kak Hafe? Siap?
Okay, my turn.
Kak Hafi?
Yes.
Right.
Hafi atau Hafe?
Hafi.
Oh, Hafi. Oh, sorry ya.
All right. Thank you, Uncle Dan, for making the time and sharing experience. Also for the 2 tandem hosts, wonderful hosts, Kylo and Kayani, and for our esteemed President of Press for making this happen. All right, cut to the chase. My question is, I see this profession as a voiceover is very unique because, as we know, acting is the more personalities or character that you can adapt to, the more you're going to get more job offers. But on the other hand, as a singer or as an artist, you have to have that character in your art. Now, as a voiceover, which is in the middle of this, which is more better to improve? Is it that characteristic in your voice or the ability to adapt to more voice or character ranges? Like, of course, you have to keep growing, but if you could only choose one, which one is more important? Okay, thank you, Uncle.
Okay, so that's a really good question because actually both are important. You need to be able to interpret the script in the way that it needs to be interpreted. Now, this is actually one of the things that most voiceover artists are going to come up against at one stage or another, is inadequate direction from the client or the agency that give you the job. They're always going to say to you, "Oh, but we want it like this. We want you to be larger than life, but really quite quiet." And you go, "But that doesn't mean anything. That means like you want me to be larger than life, but you want me to be really quiet at the same time. How is that possible?" So actually, most of the time, you've got the creatives in the agencies and the people that write these scripts have something completely different in mind from what the actual voiceover script needs to have from a voiceover person's perspective. So you've got, hello, Julie Estrie, is it? So you've got something that needs to be interpreted as which you need to, as a voiceover artist, say, okay, I know what this needs. And then you've got to convince the client or the agency that actually you know better than them, because you read this stuff every day. You know, so
Okay.
what you were saying before, Hafi, was about the character in your voice.
Yeah, like,
So you have to be, I mean, you're talking about adaptability. You need to be able to adapt to various things. Now, most of the time, my jobs are pretty straightforward corporate reads. But then I get stuff that, like I've been doing lately, where, for instance, yesterday I had to record a introduction for Jokowi to introduce the country to the world at the Dubai Expo, which has just started. So I have to go, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Joko Widodo. And so that's coming up soon. There will be a video, I think, and I believe it's going to be on national TV at some stage. I'm not sure when. Anyway, so lots of the reads I do are fairly straight corporate reads, but then you get some stuff which is quite, so you'll get a lot of the direction says pace, medium, tone, friendly and confident, or smiling and trustworthy, and whatever it is, right? So this is the copywriter. So the copywriter, you've got to learn to really interpret what the copywriter has meant when they're trying to give you a script, especially
was it difficult for you?
No, because I love reading. So this is the key to it. If you don't read, you're never going to be able to understand the way people speak. So the key is read a lot and talk to a lot of people and listen.
Okay, so the takeaway.
There's a famous saying, you have two ears and one mouth, use them in proportion.
That's correct, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so
just talk to people. Listen to the way people talk when they're excited, when they're sad, when they're just talking normally. Listen instead of talking all the time. Most people talk too much. That's the key. I talk too much, but I try to really listen to people so that you can hear the intonation, you can hear the passion coming through, you can hear what is and the more you do that, the more you will realize how to reinterpret when you get a script that requires various levels of passion or pace or whatever.
All right.
Sudah terjawab, Kak Hafi?
Yeah.
Actually, it's a bit more. So, Uncle Dan, the takeaway is: do you choose jobs that are appropriate to your characteristic, or do you adapt your voice and your character to the job? Which one is it?
Well, that's a good question also, because that assumes that I have some sort of picking and choosing what I do. I mean, I do, but I also take everything that comes to me pretty much. But there are some things, obviously, that I can't do. Like some of the ones, I don't know about the rest of the people, but I get a lot of auditions in on my email. And so some of them I'll look at and I'll go, no, I'm not even going to do that, because it's just, it's not worth me trying